The Mach number then kind of takes into account a little bit of altitude, I believe, and also a bit of temperature. So depending on the temperature, the Mach number will give you a different true airspeed. For those of you who are doing mostly ATPL ground school, because at PPL level you don't really talk about, you can talk maybe about indicated airspeed and true airspeed, because even in a Cessna 172 or whatever, if you climb a little bit, then there'll be a bit of a difference between the indicated airspeed and the true airspeed. But for PPL, obviously Mach number doesn't really apply, but if you do ATPL ground school, then definitely you'll talk about indicated airspeed, true airspeed, and then Mach number, amongst other things. If you are doing these things, you'll be more clued up than I am. The ATPL ground school I did a long time ago. So it's actually worth going back into the books. I still actually have my ATPL books from all those years ago. I'm not really sure if the syllabus has changed that much, but obviously the theory remains the same. I mean, for example, all the stuff about speeds, as I mentioned, like indicated airspeed, true airspeed, Mach number, which I believe these were maybe in the instruments. There was such a thing as instruments in one of the ATPL subjects. This would have been maybe in the instruments thing section. The outside air temperature and total air temperature there, which shows -21. So why is there a difference here? Do you know, guys? I'm gonna ask questions now, actually. Let's see if you follow. Does anybody know why we have -21 up here on the total air temperature, -21, but why on the static air temperature outside -52? What's the difference there? 1 minute to type your answers. You know you want to. Tick tack, tick tack, tick tack, tick tack. 30 seconds left. So what's the difference between the static air temperature and the total air temperature? 10 seconds left. I'll be kind, I'll give you another 30 seconds. So the temperature here, stop the clock, the temperature displayed here, the -52, is the static air temperature, so it's the temperature outside of the aircraft, as if you were like the aircraft was not moving and you were sitting outside on top of a kind of non-moving aircraft at 35,000 feet. So that's the temperature at 35,000 feet currently. And the total air temperature is the sum of the temperature outside and the heat generated by flying through the air like this at the moment. So at the moment there's about 30 degree difference. So the heat generated by the aircraft flying through the air kind of adds it's about 30 degrees, so it's about generating 30 degrees of heat. Obviously you may have heard the Concorde was above all on the nose of the Concorde it was getting really hot because it was flying at like Mach 2, so I was generating a lot of heat. But even those aircraft like this at decimal 83, it's about producing 30-degree difference. So it is quite realistic. On the rear aircraft, it's pretty much doing the same as well. If the temperature outside is minus 52, it would be about minus 22 there. So at those speeds, it's quite realistic there. So yeah, that's something to know, I guess. Alright, so we checked the recall. There's nothing there. There was no issues. The notes and the descent page. Since there was no issues, there will be no notes. Activate runway 01 and end the FMC. So the arrival is the same, and then the transition. So actually, what we're gonna do, first fill in the discontinuity there, and then if we look at the display, we'll cycle through the points. And then to avoid doing that dog leg, we'll do, we were talking about it the other day, do what is it called, Tebi slash minus 10, I guess. Put it on top. So create a virtual point here, 10 miles before Tebi, and then from there bypass Tebi and join the ESSA 801. So we don't do that big kind of 90-degree turn to establish, but we cut the corner there to establish, something like that. That looks a little bit more reasonable. We'll go to the one in the corner there, Alpha 7. So from runway 01 left, it will be much shorter actually. Cool. So the minima on this, zero 01 left is 300 feet. Was that 300? That's the only thing that doesn't show in the Aivlasoft EFB is the minima for the ILS. And the VRF we're gonna work out as 8.6 on arrival, plus the zero fuel weight 220.3, so that should be 228.9. So in the approach ref 228.9. It's gonna give us a very 3143. It's a long runway, so we go for auto brakes 2. Descent checklist.
Stand by. Descent checklist. Recall checked. Notes
Checked.
auto brake level 2. Landing data.
VRF 30 is 143, minimums 300 feet. VRF is 143, minimums 300 feet.
VREF 143. Minimums 300 feet. Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
Right, so since we're approaching the top of descent, I'll set, I guess 150 is the first level there. Alright. Idle.
Check.
So like always, kind of trying to read the FME changes there. Yeah, that's something I can't really deny. Although you know, I can hold my own in English, but that's something I can't deny. The accent is still kind of betraying me a little bit. So at the top of descent, yeah, the FMA mode there for the thrust went from speed to idle. So from a kind of cruise setting, which was around, I don't know, 85% or whatever, it went back to idle, which at the moment is 37.0. So the thrust comes back to idle, and then once the thrust is at idle and the system is happy, it should stay there, then it kind of goes to the hold mode here, which kind of gives the pilot the opportunity to kind of move the thrust levers without fighting the auto throttle system, basically. So I kind of read hold as you can now hold the thrust levers and move them without fighting against the system. So that's a little bit what the hold mode is. For the for guys who are at the moment training to be airline pilots, it's bad timing, you know, because there's so many experienced pilots who've been made redundant that the market is saturated with relatively experienced pilots. So like young guys who come up on the market now, unless they've got contacts or like ways to get in. But for the common dude, it's not gonna happen for a long time, I think. I don't want to sound like pessimistic or the bearer of bad news, but you have to be realistic. I mean, there's a lot of experienced guys now available on the market, and not so many jobs going on as well. So now is not a good time. Hopefully it's gonna pick up quickly, but nobody has a crystal ball, so. Yeah, on the 737 it was arm, if I do remember well. On this one it's hold. I'm not sure. It's exactly more or less the same function, to be honest. It does exactly the same thing. As I said, it kind of allows you to kind of move the thrust levers without fighting the auto throttle, basically. But if I do remember the 737, it was doing the same with ARM. Yeah, that's right. It's written in white. Here everything stays green. The white is when, mind you, it was. There will be no white anyway under the thrust FMA there, but the white will be showing on the as armed function. So from LNAV, if we arm a localizer, for example, the lock will be white, which I believe might be the same in the 737, if I do remember as well. But this one is a little bit different, I guess, and also there's no VOR lock mode. There's only lock, so you can't You can't lock on a VOR radio, for example. The VOR will be you would actually tune the VOR in the FMC instead of tuning the VOR on the center pedestal here, and of course you don't have the courses there as well as you know, on the 737 you'll get the course knobs there on both sides, so you will set like the course for the radio, for example, to intercept on a VOR, or otherwise the final approach course on an ILS. Here it's all done automatically as well, and if you want to fly an autoland on the 737, you need to arm both autopilots as well, as here there's only one, well, two autopilot buttons, but it controls actually the three autopilots altogether, whereas on the 737 you're either like controlling autopilot A or autopilot B. The way we're doing it is that the captain was using command A and the first officer was using command B, but in normal circumstances, and then when you had to fly an autoland, then engage the second autopilot. After the approach mode is armed, if I remember. Yeah, it's easy to forget when you're not used to it anymore. It's easy to forget. Seatbelt signs on.
Seatbelt signs coming on.
Beautiful, all those islands in Sweden. It's a beautiful day. Oops, we're gonna go through that cloud. Wow, amazing. Right, so we're gonna be 150 or below at Nilug, which is good. We can go down to 100 or even more, 70 for example, or 60. Transition. Yeah, on the 777 there's like 3 autopilots and they kind of all work together pretty much all the time, so there's no really for an autoland, then there's no need to engage another autopilot because they work in they're working together basically. On the 737 you had to remember, of course, if you are doing an autoland to engage the second autopilot, because otherwise at some point you will go back to a single channel, I think it was called, and yeah, single channel, you cannot really autoland. So if you forget to engage the second autopilot, then there's no autoland when you get lower, so it would have been embarrassing to forget. Right, so now we're coming back towards 240 knots, which is the default speed below flight level 100 in the descent. You can change it to 250, but 240 is good enough as well. The flight protection envelope is not too bad. Is on the 777 is not as advanced maybe as on the Airbus. Airbus really would, from what I understand, prevent you from doing anything specific. But yeah, on this is not too bad. You've got a bit of stall protection, bank angle protection. What else can I think of? The stall, the bank protection. What else? I think there's a third thing that doesn't spring to mind right now. But yeah, definitely the stall and the bank angle protection. Because it's amazing, you'll try to, for example, on the bank angle, you'll try to go beyond 35 or whatever, and the thing will kind of try to you let go and it will kind of roll wings level again. You know, it's amazing how it works. And the stall, when all the automation is set, it will just sit over like the stall speed and kind of you know, not stall basically. So it's amazing. I'll have to try maybe to test on this if it does work like the real thing, if it's properly simulated, because it will be interesting. Right, we'll go flight level change, first flight level change speed. Yeah, Boeing is a different philosophy altogether, because it still kind of gives the pilot more control. Airbus kind of, I mean, I might be wrong, because at the end of the day I never flew Airbus, but from what I understand, more things are prevented by the system on Airbus, whereas in Boeing it's a little bit more like hands-on, kind of lets you do more things, but still protects, you know, to a certain extent. Alright, so we'll come back on the speed a little bit, go down to the platform, which was 2,500 feet. Okay. Yeah, there's no issue with the terrain here. 3,000, 2,500. So you saw I moved the knob there from 1,000 to auto. If you're on 1,000, then you'll never be able to set 2,500. It only goes by the 1,000. So to get the 500, you need to go switch the knob there, the back of the knob to auto, and then it goes by the hundreds. Right, so 2,500 was at the QNH 1023. Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Altimeters.
1023 set.
1023. Approach checklist complete.
Yeah, I do think it's the Boeing yoke is a much better system. The Air France 441, was it? The one from Rio to Paris, where they stole the aircraft. The first officer was flying the aircraft, kept pulling on the stick, and nobody realized he was pulling on the stick all the time. This wouldn't happen on Boeing because the sticks on Airbus are not linked to each other. So if one guy pulls on the stick, then the other stick is not pushed back. So the other guy doesn't realize. They've got those stick priority messages or whatever, but on that instance, on that accident, it didn't really help. But on Boeing, if you pull on the control column, the two control columns are linked mechanically together. So you would see the other pilot will see that the control column is being pulled, you know, and kept back, and you would see that. You will notice it straight away. So yeah, that system is not very good, I find. They've got, as I said, those stick priority messages thingies going on, but flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Flaps 5.
Speed checked. Flaps 5.
Even Sully, you know, from the US Airways in the Hudson, did say that the Airbus design with the stick was definitely a contributory factor in that Rio to Paris accident, and it was a bit of a design flaw in Airbus. So even if someone like that says there's a bit of an issue with the Airbus design, then you have to believe it, I guess. Go vertical speed.
Check.
Simulator thing. It's easy to forget the speed brakes.
Checked.
It's easy to forget the speed brakes because in real I would keep holding onto the speed brakes, but here is a button. Anyway. Flaps 15.
Speed check. Flaps 15.
Right, so we got Sierra Alpha identified. Cabin is ready. Sierra Alpha is what we're looking for. That's good. There will be an ILS in the scenery. Oops. I'm not sure why the thrust was added up there.
$1,000 feet to level off.
Roger. Roger, Dodger. Approach mode, that will be useful. Localizer glides up arms, I see it's written in white. I'm distracted now. Localizer capture.
Check.
At least it didn't overshoot too much there, the nav took it.
2500.
Gear down.
Gear down. Cabin crew, take your seats.
Flaps 20.
Speed checked. Flaps 20.
Missed approach is going to 3000 feet. There's no indication there. Right. Flaps 30.
Speed checked. Flaps 30.
Alanda traffic, Swiss 7 Alpha Mike, final runway 01 left. Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete.
Flight director. Right, I wish me luck.
Approach stable.
I'm glad.
Checked.
1,000.
Check. There's a bit of a crosswind. With the joystick there, it's gonna be interesting. No pedals.
Approaching.
Here we are.
1 left.
Arlanda, which is quite far out from Stockholm. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a ride to get from the city center to the airport.
Approaching minimums.
Approaching minimums.
Check.
Minimums.
Minimums.
Landing.
Checked.
$50, $30, $20, $10.
Speed brakes up. Reverses normal.
Manual braking.
Check. 60 knots.
Alright. Let me put the EFB there. We'll vacate Yankee 6. Okay to clean up.
Check.
And then we'll turn here. Do a bit of S-turn. Oops. Let me check. Yeah, good. And then we're going to Alpha 7. Try to call GSX. Alpha 7 is number 6. Follow me. No. So there should be Alpha 7 here. Where is it? Man, with the simulator on there, it's not very visible actually. Right, here we are. Lights and doors.
Cabin crew, disarm doors and cross-check.
I always lose. Okay, that will do. Alright, parking brake set. The APU is running. And then doors, manual. You should switch off the seatbelt sign with the shutdown flow. That'll be it. Yeah, I'm not sure. That might be a scenery thing. There was no DME there on the approach. Yeah, I noticed that it was only the ILS itself, no DME. So yeah, the seatbelts sign is off. Flight director, I can switch off there. Get rid of the barrel. The FMC, we can go back to the addon page. You can do the same actually.
I'm ready for the checklist.
Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Parking brake.
Set.
Shutdown checklist complete.
Molto bene. Cool. Here we are in Stockholm. Welcome to Stockholm, Arlanda.